band with this fool and Dirt, you know? It's just
Mhm.
basically we're like, yo, let's start some fucking tough guy, gym short, like fucking hardcore shit in the Bay.
But also, like, we don't try to like focus on like one aspect of the song where it's going to be just that's the catchy part. Like, we want the entire thing to sound good from start to finish.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Thank you for joining the KDigitals podcast again. This time around, on this episode, I have You Lose, a local band from San Jose, California. That said, before I start all these interviews, I always like to ask, before I kind of define who the artist is, I always want to know, like, how would you guys describe yourself? Would you say you're a hardcore band? Are you just a thrash crossover band? How would you kind of label your guys' selves?
Hardcore all the way. Yeah, just mad as shit.
Ass beater riffs.
Strip club fight music, you know what I mean? Basically, I want us to,
Bar fight music.
yeah, straight up. You see
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze? That's what I want us to sound like.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think so? Like, I know I said San Jose, but you guys are also from around the area. It's like Oakland. I don't know. I would say Santa Cruz or not.
Yeah, so George lives in Oakland. We have another member that's not with us. His name's Michael. He plays drums.
Mhm.
The newest addition. He lives in San Francisco, but Fred, JT, and myself all live in San Jose.
Okay, because you guys are very local then. Like actually local. But yeah, I was asking like that stripper fight club music, right? I think like you're from the Bay, and if you're more towards Oakland, that's just naturally going to seep into the sound, right? Is that vibe? For sure. Well, cool. So I know you guys just released Mental Warfare. Was that something you were working on before COVID, or did that kind of come about because of COVID?
No, it was definitely already in the works pre-COVID. We had finished recording it like literally probably the week before the shit hit the fan.
Oh shit. Okay.
Swinging on a guest spot from Elliot from Gulch, and everything just fucking like everything shut down. So yeah, it was definitely before everything happened.
That makes sense. And then, so did you guys think like, okay, this is ready to go? Do we wait till COVID's over to release it? What made you guys decide to just kind of put it out not too long ago?
There was a lot of back and forth between like, should we put it out now? Should we wait?
Should we fucking throw it away?
Should we throw it? Yeah. It came up a couple times. So like, I don't know. I feel like there's no sort of timeline for this shit. Like COVID could last for another 3 years. At this point, no one knows. So like,
yeah,
we just wanted to. And then being like, oh, now we need to write something else.
Yeah, that makes sense. So then, like, when you released it, because once you guys put it out, like everyone was kind of sharing on Instagram, I saw. Do you guys have any other like plans of like what to do with it? Like do any of those kind of like live webcam shows or anything? Or is it kind of your guys' pipeline kind of on pause until you know when you can kind of go back that side?
No, I mean, like at first we were kind of like, if we can't play live, we don't want to do anything. But like, to be realistic, we're not like a theatrical band, so like we just want to play music and we want people to hear music. So like we've been talking about doing some live stream maybe sometime soon with a local like production company, but nothing's set completely in stone. But yeah, we're just kind of like trying to all link up again and get back into the groove of like just playing the music.
Yeah. Are you guys like still like practicing and still like able to like come together, or do you feel like is it all just kind of just?
We did it for like 3 or 4 months. The first 2 months of everything, it was just at home, and then like it just got to the point where I was losing my mind, not playing, like jam with somebody else other than myself. Sent Fred a million riffs.
Yeah. I would say like about like we try to make it a point to try to like link up as much as possible. I would say at least like try to be like 2 times a month right now.
Hmm.
a little bit more afterwards.
Gotcha. So like it's more for like kind of like staying in shape than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And me and Fred bounce ideas off each other. I just sit at home and write riffs all day, or try to.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. Does it ever get like to a point where I feel like even if without that, right, you could still kind of be creative and bring this together. But do you feel like it's become like harder to put together a song now because of like not being able to be as organic?
Fuck yeah.
We used to practice like every Sunday, you know, so we'd like always see each other, you know, but like this
Yeah.
shit like made shit like, you know, a little difficult, you know, like the whole virus shit, everyone's gotta take their precautions. We all got family, kids, you know, parents and shit, gotta be careful with it. So, you know, it's made it a little weird, but I would literally fucking always bet my last dollar that if you put us all in a room with a fucking outlet, we would make some sick ass shit.
Yeah.
Every time.
As though. Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's cool. So you mentioned earlier you got like Elliot from Gulch on there.
Yeah.
I know Sound is like a really close knit, right? But like, how did that kind of come about? Did you guys say, hey, real quick, do you want to jump in here? Was he in the studio? How did that?
So when we had written the song, all the songs, we didn't have names for any of them until like we recorded them. So like we had an idea to put someone on a song, and we were like kind of bouncing off the ideas of a few different people. It was gonna have like 2 people on it, but it ended up sounding better with just one person. And I've been friends with Elliot for like maybe like almost 10 years now.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Like, he and I are really good friends, and with everyone in the band too, he knows them all really well. So he was just super down. Like he's down for whatever hardcore's coming out of San Jose, and he's down to back it. So he was super into it.
So like I feel like that faster thrash riff too that he does vocals over just fit. Like when we were talking about it, I was like, Elliot needs to be on this because he would kill it, and he did. So
Yeah. No, I think it's a cool choice too, because like for Jared, right? We take your vocals. It's more like kind of like not bassier, but it's like deeper, more fuller. And then you take his like very like goblin-y, kind of like high pitched ish, like stabby sound, and you put that together, like, oh, that's a cool little blend going on.
Yeah, definitely it's a good contrast going on.
You can hella hear that too on the transition from the end of Elliot's verse back into Jared's vocals. Like it's very obvious, like, but it sounds so good.
Yeah, I know that was clean. And did you mention there's gonna be a third person, but you decided just to cut it down to 2?
Yeah, it just the song just wasn't as long as like we had thought it was gonna be. So we were just kind of like, let's just keep it at like 1 feature. I mean, like there's very little songs that I've heard personally with 3 vocalists on it where I'm like, that's really fire. But it happens, so I didn't want to like over saturate the song if it was already like pretty solid on its own.
Yeah, that makes sense. So like when the time comes to play like live again, what would you do if like he's not there? Would you like do the vocals yourself, or would you kind of just like cut the song to like?
That's a good question. Actually, so I have his lyrics and I listen to the song all the time just so I like know what they are. And I mean, honestly, it's probably just gonna have JT do it because like JT's on a couple of the songs too, and he used to front a few bands. So as long as he can like, we could do the lyrics back and forth, or if Elliot is there, or if like one of the homies wants to jump in and like mess the whole thing up, that's fine too.
No, that makes sense. That's dope. That's cool though that you guys are bringing together. I feel like, listen, like if you really look at the scene, like everyone's like in other bands and like connected. I don't think I've ever seen that kind of like feature come together. So like, oh, that's a cool idea. Yeah, just keep it going.
It's also cool that he's local too. So like any show that is local, he's probably going to be there. Like, so he can jump on the song, you know, like it's not like as opposed to getting someone who doesn't live here, and then they can only literally do it if they're in town or you're in their city or whatever. So
no, that makes sense. Well, no, I mean that was great. Like I like learning more about like kind of the thought process behind like the songs and all that. And actually I have a few more types of songs, but I want to kind of come back to that in a bit, right? the next question I want to ask is like, how did you guys even come together in the first place? How did that story come to be?
Well, so in 2015, I met George at some show in Santa Cruz, and we smoked a couple blunts or whatever, and we talked about how we both like hardcore. And then like he had messaged me like a couple months later and was like, "Yo, like I remember you saying you wanted to be in a band. Like me and this dude are gonna start a band." And it was with the dude from Hands of God, Mike Dirt. So we all got together, went through a few drummers, and then eventually like landed on a few solid people in a lineup, and it kind of rolled since there. Like Mike introduced us to Fred to get in the band, so Fred's been in the band like 3 years now, and JP's their new guitar player. He's been in for like a year, so it's kind of just like taking different elements from different bands, and then people got more busy with other things, so we just kind of like kind of group of dudes who are down to fucking rock.
Yeah.
I moved up here from LA like when I met this fool, and it was just different up here, like the music scene, like the types of stuff. And I got kind of I was like a little bored kind of, and I felt like I could do, like I wanted to do something, just to because I didn't have a lot of friends where I lived at, like when I first moved up here, so I started this band with this fool and Dirt, it was just basically, we're like, yo, let's start some fucking tough guy, Jim Short, like fucking hardcore shit in the Bay. Like I'm talking about like straight, like, like our band name comes from a Donnie Brook lyric, you know what I mean? Like that's like, I've always loved that type of shit. So when I came up here, I was like, let's do some like straight LA hardcore, like type of like in your face, like, you know what I mean?
But with a bunch of San Jose on top of it,
exactly.
So you don't get it twisted.
Exactly, I always talk about San Jose is like the missing, like it's like a long lost city or town from LA. Like it's like San Jose is like the closest thing to LA that I had living up here.
Yeah, I feel it. Where in LA are you from, by the way? I grew up in San Pedro. I don't know if you know where that's at.
Canoga Park.
Oh, so you're a little bit more north from down there for sure. So then when you came from LA, because LA it's somewhat hardcore scene, right? Are you noticing there's like a difference in like sound or like approaches to it?
It differs. I mean, like I've noticed that lots of parts of California have their like style, the further south, it's like, you got like that like faster, like, suicidal tendencies type of riffs and shit. You know what I mean? And further up north, like it's like they're like metal, like side down of it a lot. Like they got it down a lot more up here, it's fucking hard. Like these fools they pit just as fucking crazy up here as they do down there. So that's how I always gauge like the scene and shit. Like if people are beating each other's asses to it, like I'm like, all right,
I got it. Yeah.
Do something right, you know what I mean? Like if no one's moving, you're not really doing anything.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. So then, like, I think because of that, because like what I'm finding out is like San Jose just in general, and then if you kind of like bring in Santa Cruz with that, like the hardcore scene is like big here, right? So then for you guys, how do you try to like stand out from that scene, especially because a few of you are in other bands as well that have their own sounds?
I feel like with the approach we take to it, it's like we slightly go like, all right, what's like super like tough, like what's going to be heavy, but also like we don't try to like focus on like one aspect of the song to where it's going to be just that's the catchy part. Like we want the entire thing to sound good from start to finish. So I don't know, it's kind of just like we take elements from different things that we listen to. Like everyone listens to such different music besides hardcore, so like we'll take little things from here and there and kind of like splice them in and shit. Like Fred's the new metal god, so he knows all the riffs. He knows every riff from every band you've ever listened to.
He's like a fucking Jew.
And he could take anything and make it sound gold. So really just like depending on like the mood that goes into it, like what kind of, whether it's gonna be like a really fast song, really heavy song, or just like a basic just slam song.
I haven't played music before this last year. I haven't played music for like 10 years. And like Jared said, I did vocals for most bands that I was in. So I haven't like seriously played guitar in a long time. And that's honestly been, I feel like, benefiting me because I don't have like any necessary like tendencies or anything. I'm kind of just learning as I go. You know what I mean? I've been playing seriously like for about a year now. So like and I just honestly, like, if it makes me like feel like angry, then I'm going in the right direction.
Okay, that makes sense. So because of that, do you ever feel like you have to relearn how to play guitar again and like figure out a good sound, or do you feel like because of that you put a pause on where your sound was and now you're bringing that with you?
It's kind of hard to say because like the last time I played guitar for a band was probably when I was like 16 or 17. So like I'm 33 now, so it's been a minute. And then back then, the band I was in had 3 guitar players, so like I was kind of the least responsible for writing the music.
Okay.
But honestly, I fucking love it. It's been a kind of a good challenge and is something that I really enjoy doing. So it's like I would like to say I know how to play guitar, but you know, I'm still just trying to learn how to write music and try to get better at writing music.
For sure. Well, I think that's a good segue. So there's actually a part in my head that I was like curious about to like ask both you and Fred to see like how did you guys come up with that part? That says, is it cool if I play part of one of your guys' songs on here?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna turn off my headphones real quick and I'm gonna play and just get you guys' thoughts. So give me 2.
Okay. All right. Let me know. Can you guys hear this?
Yeah.
Wait, does it sound clean? Is it coming through?
A little muffled, but we can tell what it is.
Okay. So it's pretty much at the 1 minute mark. I think you'll be able to see the transition. But I was just curious, like, how did you guys come up with like this, like, I don't know if it's Lamb of God, but it's like this like chonky synth, but like blended mix.
Love that.
That shit's tight. So I wrote a majority of that song, and at first it was like a pinch harmonic type riff, and when we recorded it, the homie Toshio, because
Shout out Toshio.
I wasn't like really, I couldn't get like the same pitch harmonic every time, you know, like.
Yeah.
So like he kind of just worked with us, and instead of doing the pitch harmonic, just playing that root note but on the top string with a little bit, and then the rest of it's the same. But yeah, Toshio definitely recommended that and fucking made the song sound way fucking better than the pitch harmonic version.
Gotcha. What tuning do you play in, by the way? Do you and Fred?
Standard.
C standard.
C standard. Okay, so you guys got a little heavy. Have you
Play D standard, but
Might be a little bit heavier.
yeah,
Darker tones.
yeah.
For sure. Have you guys ever thought about doing the whole like bring the 7 string into it and just see how you make?
We were just talking about that.
No way. We're perfecting the art of the 4 frets, man. We don't need more strings.
There's very few bands that pull that off very, very well. Like Knock Loose does a really good job at it, obviously, but
And they also play the
Acacia
standard
Strain,
tuning.
but those are bands that are like more riding on the like, in my opinion, like deathcore kind of shit. Where not so much Knock Loose, but you get like Acacia Strain, like so you don't really need that like super insane tone to it.
I don't feel like 7, like in hardcore music, I don't feel like 7 string like work.
Yeah, most guitars look whack too. I mean, like
I just feel like it doesn't work. Like it's too drastic of a difference in sound. That's just me personally. But I do fuck with Knock Loose hella heavy, so like, and like Acacia Strain, and I mean, but DL was doing that shit on a 6 string forever. So like, that's proof right there. You don't have to have a 7 right heavy ass shit.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm always curious. 'Cause I feel like when like I knew the subject was coming out, I was like, oh, that seems kind of cool, but I feel like I'm not corn, so I don't need that. But then I started seeing it kind of appear up in random places. I was like, I mean, maybe I want seven string now, but I feel like I'd be a poser if I did that. But that was you.
I want a 7 string purely to have at home and
Yeah.
learn Knock Loose songs, like or Whitechapel song.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Cool. Well, real quick, I want to take a somewhat like hard left, right? One question I was always curious about is when you guys look like your demo tracks, or at least everything that's on like the Bandcamp, you guys have these like Renaissance-y like collage like covers. Well, one like where did that come from, like that concept? But then who actually like came up like created that for you?
The first like the demo thing, the demo cover, it started off as like this project in school. Like I was like making kind of like this collage shit, and I just like kind of just took it for myself, and I was like, I just started working on it for like a month, and it's like I don't know, it's just like it was just like everything in the background and shit just reminds me of like some like evil ass like Garden of Eden type of shit, you know what I mean? Like with like bits and pieces of like a trap house all like sprinkled around it. It was just like a evil ass cover, you know? And yeah, that shit took a while to make. It was cool. But the other one, the one with that picture of Lucifer getting thrown out the sky and shit,
Yeah.
it was like, man, this little release we're doing for it right now is like it just sounds evil as shit. It's quick, brief, evil. I was like, fuck. I was like, man, that's it right there. That's us right there. That's literally us getting fucking, you know.
Mm-hmm. And then how do you go from like the transition of like that to Lucifer to then I don't know how to describe like the spinning heads walking around the big head for mental warfare?
We were seeing like a lot of that dude John Mayo's work. Shout out Mayo, dude kills it. And I just really liked his style, so I hit him up and was like, "Hey man, like this is an idea we have." I shot him like a song that we had like fully done, and he listened to the song and just did a couple ideas, and then we landed on the one where it's like right in the middle because it just fits like, you know, you think of mental warfare, you think of like you're going through some really crazy stuff, and like you can see almost the agony in that drawing. So it kind of just worked really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminds you of like all those dudes pulling the chains, like all your problems fucking killing you. You know what I mean? Like that's what it kind of gives me that vibe, you know?
Yeah, it's just like a cycle. You're like, fuck, this never
Yeah.
goes away.
There, man. Fucking your worst enemy is yourself, man.
Mm-hmm. I get it for sure. Cool. So I had a couple like kind of individual questions, right? I wanted to ask a couple of you guys. So one of them, this goes for George. So like on Instagram, I've been following you. Like the memer, right?
Yeah.
But one I want to ask is, what is the Grim Reaper with the Uzi?
Oh man, I've been drawing this little like Grim Reaper for like a long time, you know, and I always thought it was like funny, you know, because it kind of reminded me of you know, like those 3 little trick or treater kids from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make my own version of these kids, you know what I mean? Like, and but these are like little fucking Grim Reapers I draw with like extended guns and shit, and like I do like little sayings and stuff. But yeah, I just add that on like my sides, like my art and shit like that. Like not street art, but like I do graffiti and I like paint those things.
Yeah. Next, I would see that I'm like, he keeps showing this thing. What is it? Like, I'm trying to figure out where it's from.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Okay. And then you have all the fight videos. Any good fight videos you found recently that probably people are sleeping on?
No, I just like post felony fight videos, you know, like the knee drop, you know, like I like to be honest, like my whole page is it's just food meme page and like graffiti and like my band. It's like you know like it was like my virtual locker. Yeah, my dog. You know what I mean? It's just like that's all that matters to me. Yeah, I got pictures of my girlfriend too in there. Sprinkled around it.
No, for sure. No, cool. I was just always, I was curious, like, man, this guy, I could spend hours just going through his own feed just to like, and entertain myself, right?
Just like graffiti shit, you know. It's just like I've been doing that shit since I was 13, so it's like that's like I'm like it's like a whole other world of shit, you know. Just, the band is just another thing that I, you know, try and do.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. Next one would be like for like Fred, right? So like I feel like when I came across your like I feel like you have this almost like workhorse kind of like vibe. Like you lose, you just put this out, you're doing the streets, and you put another album out there. How do you, I guess, like, are you kind of always working, I guess, when it comes to music? Like, do you ever, like, how do you balance all that?
I basically just kind of think about music almost like, I would say a little bit more than half my day. It's always just trying to, like, this year, of course, is kind of a wash because we don't know, it's all the uncertainty that's going on in the world. But like, I'm always kind of like thinking about like what to do next with whatever project I'm in, whether it be this band or the other band I'm in. And it's just, I feel like music has always been like kind of like one of the only thing I've ever been good at in my entire life. So basically, it kind of consumes my life most of the time. However, I am a parent too, so taking care of my kids is like like I balance that out with just kind of like playing and thinking about music like all day. It's just kind of how I roll every single day of my life currently.
That makes sense. Yeah, because like I said, just going through, it's like, man, this guy doesn't probably sleep at all, huh? He just
No, I don't really.
all the time. No, for sure, for sure. Okay. And then next one, I guess, would be for Jared. So like when you go back on like the demo, or am I saying that correctly? Is it, would you say those are demos, like the early like stuff?
Yeah, first ones are demos for sure.
So like when you go from that to like what just came out recently, right? I feel like your vocals back then were more kind of like yelly, were more like straightforward, but now you really have more again like that deeper guttural sound, right? Was that something like that sound you have now something you were trying to shoot for, or like did you transition to? Like how did that?
You hit puberty.
Yeah, man. Essentially, like, bro, I would just listen to those demos and I was so disappointed with how it sounded. And like, even recording those first 2.5 songs we had put out, that took me like 2.5 weeks because I had no idea what I was doing. I was like blowing my throat out and like doing everything wrong. So between then and now, I've really like listened to what my body responds to well. And like, every vocalist learns how to like use their diaphragm. I think that's pretty much just the key. And like my voice is already deep, so to try to scream high for me just didn't sound right, and it would always mess my throat up. Like I wouldn't be able to talk for like 4 days. So I don't know, just focusing on like using your diaphragm really, and like I just wanted to sound as angry as the lyrics I was writing. And the first couple songs definitely didn't portray like the real emotion behind it. It was just kind of trying to get it out, you know. But I don't know. Yeah, I just wanted to sound fucking pissed.
Yeah. And then that all finally came to be. Yeah, no, I feel like when you look, like if you compare like the original stuff to like now what came out with like Mental Warfare, it's like, oh yeah, this is a whole different sound for sure. Like this feels more.
People asked George if like I got kicked out, and like people were like, when we first put it out, they were like, yo, like what the fuck is this? Like who is this? And I was like, that's me, bro. Like I just learned how to scream finally. It's, you know, so,
we just coach each other and push each other to fucking be better and do better. You know what I mean? That's just what happens. You know.
Yeah.
He literally like it was like a fucking watching a fucking weed plant grow, man. It's just like went from like I was like,
I'm proud of you.
that's what I'm fucking talking about right there, dude. I was like, hell yeah, I almost cried a little bit hearing this motherfucking do that shit. I was like, okay, so this is where we're going right now. All right. You know, and then this comes in with the fucking Red Dawn fucking Wolverines, dive bombs and shit. Like, all right, bro. Like, crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure. Cool. The next one I got for JT. So I didn't know about that, by the way. The whole like you took this gap between like playing guitar and like were more vocals and stuff. So like you're playing guitar right now and you lose, right? You're playing also guitar in the streets and then guitar in Maya.
Yeah.
So how did you just hit a point of like I'm bored, I want to play guitar again, and then you're just like I'm gonna just join every band that lets play guitar? Like, how did that come?
Well, like I was in band, I was playing music for a solid 10 years,
Mhm.
and like since I was like 15, and then there's a lot of life stuff happened. I moved to Texas. Um, just a lot of shit happened, and there's like a 10-year hiatus of not playing music. Not like I had guitars and stuff, and like I would just mess around, but never took anything seriously. And then
Mhm.
our old drummer Mikey,
Shout out Mikey.
shouts out Mikey. He's on the Mental Warfare recordings, and all the other ones, I think. But I've known him for a good while, and he was in You Lose, and I was just like, I just shot my shot basically. I was like, yo, do you guys need another guitar player?
Mm.
I have a guitar right now. Like,
Yeah.
and I bought a guitar through this website. It got shipped to me the next day, and then like it was kind of I got my foot back in the door. You know what I mean? And like
Okay.
that's something. It's something that I've missed for a very long. The whole 10 years, I couldn't stop thinking about playing music. It's all I've ever wanted to do. Like if people ask you what's your dream job, it's either a tattoo, like to tattoo or play music full time. And I just get tattooed. I missed my window on the tattooing thing. So like, yeah, I got my foot in the door with these dudes. Friends in these streets. I basically did the same thing. I was like, y'all want a second guitar player? Like, I'm here. I used to be in My Over Eyes back in the day when they were still a band. And then shouts out Paco and all them hit me up, asked me if I wanted to start the project again, and was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So, yeah, I'm in 3 bands. I have a kid, so I'm nonstop doing something every night. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, You Lose, Maya, these streets, we've done some stuff recently, so like, it's busy, but I honestly, I love it.
Yeah.
That's
I think
why
that's
COVID shit was over, so we can actually do shit with it, you know?
yeah, right.
Like,
Mhm. But I think that's really like admirable, right? So like if you now we take a step back, right? And like look at like George came from LA, like I need to join a fucking band, let's do this. And you took the hiatus, went to Texas, came back, and like I need to do a band. And like all you guys are like constantly working, right? And I feel like when you like we're look at like a scene, or like local bands, like everyone's like in it. It's like, oh yeah, I'm in it. This is what I do, but it's just there. It really does seem like you guys all take this like, no, this is serious. Like we're not fucking around.
Yeah.
It's like really cool to like learn from you guys.
Bro, wasted time already, you know what I mean? Like, fuck, if I was 15, 16, yeah, I'll shit my life away again, you know? But fuck, man, can't be doing that shit. I'm almost 30, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, miss all your opportunities, you're fucking up, you know? Like, just gotta,
I'm definitely putting all my eggs in the music basket again. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, sir.
this is all I've ever wanted to fucking do. So, like, that 10-year break definitely didn't help my situation, but now that I'm back, it's like I'm hitting the ground running as hard as I can.
Yeah, for sure. Man, really cool. I appreciate you guys a lot. Well, cool beans. I mean, it's like I guess the one last thing I wanted to like ask for, I kind of wrap everything up is, like I said, COVID's kind of there. It's orange Blade Runner days right now. So what are you gonna do? All that said, what is your guys' like plan moving forward, kind of in the near future, given everything that's going on right now?
You're gonna put out an LP.
Yeah, as of right now, it's like write a LP and try and record it by the end of the year.
Mhm.
We get that all ready because like who knows? Like I'm sure you've seen like there's stuff getting booked for summer next year.
Yeah.
Like it's getting booked. Who knows if it's gonna happen? But it's getting booked. So I don't know. Just trying to stay ready. You know what I mean? Like not because I feel like waiting for everything to blow over, shows to come all the way back. Like no one's gonna know who you are. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like so, just trying to stay ready and like just trying to write like a full like real You Lose record. You know?
Mhm. That makes sense. That's cool. No, that's gonna be exciting for sure. Well, cool guys. I appreciate you all taking the time to join me today. Where can people go to listen to you at? Where can I go follow you at?
We have the same handle on Instagram as Twitter. It's at YouLoseHC. Those are the only two things we have for like social medias. You can find our merch on there. We're also on Spotify. It's You Lose, all capital letters.
Very cool. Well, hey guys, I appreciate taking the time with me. I will let you go and talk to you all soon.
Hell yeah, fool. Black Lives Matter. Don't forget that shit.
All goddamn day.
Fuck
Blue
the cops.
lives don't.
Shout out the little kid who shot the cops in LA.